Hi, welcome to another episode of Hands On with Babur. We are fixing our farm and we are doing it ourselves. In the last episode, we made a lot of progress and cleaned up a large area of the fort. Now that area is being used as a store to keep all our tools, supplies, and other things. Today, we came back to the farm and saw one of our large peepal trees at the back had fallen in the storm. A storm that hit the area last night. There has been a lot of unseasonal rain and heavy wind storms lately. The good news is that the roots of the fallen tree are still in the ground, so it looks like it will live. But we will have to find a way to resurrect the tree back to its upright position. If we can, I would certainly like to save this large tree. Today, we got our first visitor to the farm. Junior's childhood friend V came to the farm for the first time. We had worn shorts to the farm, not realizing that she was soon going to be a treat for the mosquitoes, and I think it was her first visit to any farm. Today, we had brought a gas barbecue to the farm in anticipation of future barbecues. The day started with coffee and some snacks and getting V up to speed on the farm. Today I had also brought a new tool, the grass trimmer, and I tested it. But I think I was just too gentle with it since it was new and I had no experience with it. And I was even beginning to think that is this tool good enough? I will soon learn that one needs to be far more aggressive and ruthless with the grass trimmer to get the desired results. V was put on pruning duty on the gentle Ashok trees, and Junior was in charge for showing her how. There was a lot of growth on the lower parts of the Ashoka trees that needed pruning so that the trees can grow higher, stronger, and faster. Our tools are better, but still not perfect. For example, a lopper would have been great for pruning the Ashoka trees. The pruning saw did the job, but it was kind of awkward to use it at some points and at some of the places. I was, on the other hand, slowly getting a hang of the grass trimmer finally. But the progress was slow. V was making weird Pokemon sounds every time she sheared a branch, which was kind of cute. She was making slow but steady progress under Junior's watchful eyes. Soon I had had enough, and my gentleness was being replaced by frustration, and I handed over the trimmer to Junior. While I moved on to attaching the crooked handle on the rake, a task I had abandoned in the last video due to lack of proper tools. To fix that, the first task at hand was to remove all the small, almost invisible thorns from the babool branch. And today I had the right tool for it. A machete I had made from a thick sheet of scrap iron that I had found on the roadside. I used the heavy machete to scrape all the thorns. In the meanwhile, Junior was clearing the undergrowth of the Ashoka trees now that they had been pruned, and it was easy for him to do that. While we found more things to cut, Junior and we cleared a big thorny bush that was growing into the wall of the fort. It was super thorny, and again, the lopper would have been great, but Junior and we did well and got rid of it after a few thorny pricks. Now that the bubble stick was smooth and safe to work with, I needed to reduce the diameter of the stick so that it would fit snugly into the receptacle of the rake. I used a sharp cutter to whittle it down to the required size. It took a few tries to get the right size. But once it was snug, I hammered it in for a tight fit and then secured it with a screw. And just like that, we added another useful tool to our arsenal, the crooked rake. We then pruned the kika tree a little bit more. We came across some really interesting characters on the farm. And today we saw a really beautiful and interesting painted grasshopper. It had big blue eyes and a body covered in beautiful graphic lines. I had never seen one like this before. We ended the day with some silly selfies, and it was a perfect conclusion to mark V's first visit to the farm and make it a nice memory. I came back to the farm after a couple of days and decided to clean the area behind the fort.
Today we're going to clean this backside area, which we need to clear also because we want to make the electricity connection to the house, and also I might want to plant some trees here. So let's go.
My camera placement was not the best, but I was making progress and also getting a hang of using the grass trimmer more effectively. One thing led to the other, and I then decided to start cleaning the path that leads to the back of the fort from the main gate.
So we started clearing the backside, and I think we're making good progress. Now I'm going to clear the path that comes to the backside, so that there is a place from where we can come to this area. So as you can see, it's a little bit overgrown. I'm going to work on that.
That is when I realized that the trimmer was quite effective when you task it well. Once the path was done, I started cleaning the back and I made good progress. About half the area at the back was cleaned. It was really hot and humid. By this time, I was drenched in sweat and ready for a break. I sat there admiring my handiwork and catching a breath, and that is when I decided to come back with Junior to finish the rest. I deposited all my weapons in the armory and head home for the day. Junior and I came back after a few days, and today we were determined to clean the back of the fort as we wanted to plant some fruit trees in the coming season soon. We collected all our tools in the barrow so that all the tools would be close at hand. Today, we also had two new tools in our arsenal. We had bought a pruning lopper based on our learnings from our previous outing with V, and I had also procured a mini chainsaw for taking care of some of the big branches and bushes. The crooked rake and the pruning saw also joined the party, and we were all ready to go. I surveyed the task at hand and decided to go after pruning and shearing, while Junior decided to de-weed using the grass trimmer. With both of us at work, we made light work of it. At that point, we discussed and agreed to try uprooting weeds rather than whacking them, as that would be better and there would be lesser chance of regrowth of these weeds. The process was tedious and tiring. We then tested both the new tools, the lopper and the mini chainsaw. The lopper was super strong and effective, while the chain of the chainsaw came off in its first use itself. I was disappointed at first, but later when I was trying to fix the saw, I figured the chain was installed backwards and that is why it didn't cut and came off the guide instead. So, no problem, we can fix it. Anyway, the lopper was fast, fun, and efficient, and I took it for a spin, and the rest is history. Junior was still obsessed with uprooting, and he made some remarkable progress in clearing the area of weeds, perhaps for a long time to come. For all the soft weeds, we were doing a chop and drop, as it slows down evaporation, improves the biomass of the soil, thereby enriching it, and also takes away the trouble of disposing it and throwing it somewhere else. I pruned a lot of kikar and babul trees that had grown wild on the farm. I have decided to keep most of the native trees for now and let them grow until we decide to remove them for some other fruit trees. Till then, they are being pruned and well taken care of so that they grow well and tall. The wild trees are mainly the kikar and the babul trees, and both have lots and lots of thorns. The kikar normally has multiple limbs growing from almost the base of the tree, while babul has one main trunk and a nice canopy on top. Junior was sincerely uprooting everything, but he was also being challenged by stubborn, deep rooters every now and then. Even when I took a coffee break and was catching my breath, Junior went on quietly giving a tough fight and sometimes finishing touches to the weeding. It was quite cloudy and windy and a beautiful day. We had done a pretty decent job of cleaning the place, but there still was a lot more to be done. We were quite tired and sweaty, but were happy with the progress we had made today.
Good morning. So today we are looking at clearing this area, and you know this entire exercise is to clear this place before the monsoons. Monsoons are actually here. We're running late, but that's how it is, and we need to clear it so that we can plant new trees. So there are a lot of these native trees which are growing wild. Some of them we are saving, some which are totally in the way and not adding any value. We're going to remove them and replace them with other trees. So the idea is to clear this bit today. So right from here till there, I'm going to attempt clearing See.
I was back at the farm again alone today. I whacked weeds with the trimmer and pruned and cut a lot of wild trees that were growing. With all the app tools available now, I was making good progress, and then it was time to dump the biomass that was not apt for chop and drop, and I had been piling it up in one place. It was time for a break, and I set up my coffee camp under the babool tree as that was a nice shaded area. I sat there, listened to the birds, savoring my coffee and biscuits, admiring the progress, planning ahead, and thanking the Almighty for this lovely opportunity. And did I tell you I got new boots for the farm, if you haven't already noticed? It was time to leave, and before I left, I stopped at the gate and stood at the vantage point to enjoy the real progress that I had made today. And we are inching forward, and it was quite satisfying to witness the transformation. I went home with a smile. Junior and I came back after a couple of days. Put on our work shoes, Junior got some new work boots too. We gathered our tools in the barrow and set up our workstation in the front yard. The target was to get the front yard cleared today. We picked up our weapons of choice and I chose to prune while Junior went about town with the weed whacker. We cut, trimmed, mowed, whacked, pruned, uprooted, sheared till the batteries were exhausted, both of the men and the machines. We then took a coffee break and also a banana break and also took stock of the work done and yet to be done. After the break, we went back to finish the leftover areas. Junior then started working on the area between the upper and the middle farm. He tackled one end and I attacked the other. And then, with one tactical strike, Junior brought down the thorny wild green wall between the upper and the middle farm. A view we were seeing for the first time. We then gave that part some finishing touches and the area was nice and clean. After all the yard work, there were piles of biomass left in the yard, one pile bigger than the other. Junior then collected and piled up all the trimmed parts and dumped it in a corner of the yard for decomposition and mulching. We were finally done. The cantonment was looking so good with the front yard so clean with an uninterrupted view from the gate to the patio. This is the most clean that we've seen this yard and it was a treat for our tired souls. We cleaned and deposited all our tools and implements back in the store and we were done for the day. With the backyard and now the front yard reasonably clean, we were ready to plant some trees. We had taken some giant strides forward in the last few days. I know this episode was much delayed and I apologize for the same. But the good news is that we are already working on the next one. In the meantime, please like, share, comment and subscribe if you already haven't. And follow us on Instagram as well. Bye!